Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the series premiere of Chainsaw Man. Great series premiere. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, I've never read the manga, and I do remember when Chainsaw, the anime, was coming out, but it was something I only knew tangentially and stuff like that. I'd seen some of the images and designs and stuff, but I didn't fully know what this series was about. Definitely now watching it, I'm like, oh, it gives me Devil May Cry vibes. Which I think is kind of, if you have no idea, if you don't know, I'm a big Devil May Cry fan, so I'm all about that. But like Devil Hunters and stuff like that, because I didn't know that's what this series is about. But anyway, I also wasn't expecting the Pochita of it all, because I knew about Denji. Well, I knew about like the character's name being Denji and stuff like that, but I didn't know enough about him. Like the fact is, he's in millions and millions of dollars of debt. That's not even his own; it's his dad's debt. His dad was so caught up in everything, ended up hanging himself and killing himself and leaving Denji alone because his mom had already died previously from like a heart disease or something. So you're like, jeez, man. I was like, I didn't know this anime was going to start depressing. Dude is doing everything he can. He sells one of his eyeballs. He gives up one of his kidneys. He sells one of his nuts just to get by. And he's also killing devils too. And, selling them to the Yakuza who can sell them on the black market just for the purposes of trying to pay off his debt. Who the Yakuza or who he owes the money to in the first place. So you're just like, jeez. But anyway, like I said, the Pochita of it all, because I knew about the transformation. I've seen the Chainsaw Man design and stuff, so I knew that. But when we got introduced to Pochita, I was like, oh, do they combine together? Which they kind of do, but my thinking was when they combine together and after they would split back and Pochita would still just be Pochita. I didn't know like Pochita's, I guess, to some extent maybe technically gone, but maybe not. Maybe that's something that would get kind of either undone later on in this anime, or maybe it happens later on in the manga. I don't know. So a lot of those questions immediately, but like I said, I also really love the animation because I remember like people talking about the animation at the time, like, oh my god, it's gorgeously animated and stuff like that. So, but yeah, just trying to get by, and Denji is like, oh yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to pay off the debt. The fact of the matter is that one guy is like from the Yakuza being like, oh yeah, eat this cigarette, and he does, but he like lets the guy think he did, but the moment the guy drives away, he spits it out. But it's like, yeah, I will do whatever it takes for money because he definitely, another parallel to kind of think of because obviously the anime came out. Yeah, that was this year. God, it feels like that was so long ago. But yeah, viral hit. He kind of reminds me of Hoban because Hoban will do whatever it takes for money. And you kind of go like, oh, he's just not your typical protagonist because he can be like very spineless and sometimes, but it's also like his circumstances make him be like, yo, I'm gonna do whatever it takes for money. I don't have any pride, I'm not in a position to like worry about such stupid stuff like that. I'll do whatever it takes to make money to pay off this debt because all he's had for such a long time. I mean, because he's been paying off this debt and hunting devils since he was a kid. We have no idea how old Denji is. I don't know if he's like early 20s or he's a late teen, but he was like definitely like a young child. Whether that's like single digits or whether he was already in the double digits, like maybe like 12 or 13, something we don't know. But he was still far too young to have all this thrown on him. And maybe there were extenuating circumstances beyond like just the debt that made his father do what he did, or maybe that's all there is to it. Maybe there won't be more to that. It's just that's Denji's story, like that's his father's circumstances, and that put him on this path, kind of like the webtoon version of like I'm pulling all the examples would be like Girls of the Wilds, Jagu's circumstances. His mom and dad have like nothing, like it's just his circumstances that lead into the story of Girls of the Wild, and nothing ever becomes of it. I stress the webtoon because the live action kind of dives more into that, but that's neither here nor there. So that's just a thing of like, I don't know if that's going to be like, oh, it's just the setting stage for his story to put him on the path he's on and nothing else will come from it, or we'll kind of retroactively find out there was actually more to that. Probably not, but we'll see. But yeah, barely has enough money to get by. All he can afford is getting some bread. He's like, yeah, we have like 1,800. We got to make this stretch plus the like 100 yen I got for eating the cigarette. They'll cover us another 3 days. But it's like, yeah, we got to eat bread, do whatever we can to survive. Because we actually also get that flashback on the day his he had to bury his dad. He inherited his father's debt, but he also met Pochita, and Pochita was wounded. Pochita is a devil, so he got shot. So someone was probably hunting him, but he got away. So we don't know if Pochita has like other family or not. And even if he did, or they did, they could be dead. Pochita could be the only one, because we don't know like how devils work. And it's like, do they come from families? Do they have their own crew, or devils like solo beings of like, they're like, we're single species of like Pochita's the only Pochita, or are there other Pochitas and they just got killed? Once again, I ask a lot of questions. This is me getting dropped into this world, and I'm curious to see if we'll ever get any answers like that or not. Or, once again, I do acknowledge I can overthink things, but whatever the case may be, it is a thing of two lonely people, Pochita just barely surviving and Denji just barely surviving, found each other, and Denji fed Pochita his blood, because it's like, yeah, you need blood, and that kind of heals your wounds, so you'll survive, but also like you got to help. Like, I don't want to die either, so we'll help each other. And so Pochita becomes his weapon for killing devils. And just for him, it's like his grand dream is like, well, he's like, one day I want to be able to like put jam on the bread and kind of feed it to you. But also, I just want to, will I die like not having a girlfriend? I just want to, like go to sleep hugging someone, just having that special someone in my life, because it's just a lonely life he's been living these past years, just doing job after job, selling whatever he can just to cover his debt. And all that just to end up being betrayed. Now, it's really because the Yakuza guys were just like, oh, we need some, they got offered some power from a devil. Because it's like, yeah, the whole conversation of bigger and better. Because I thought, like, why are you trying to kill him now? Like, he has been a good workhorse for you. So I'm like, are you going to slice and dice him and sell his bits? Even though that's what you threatened him with the first time you met him. But it's like, yeah, he does good work for you. And he does it cheap. So that's why I was wondering, like, why would you betray him now? And the guy that stabbed Denji first, I'm like, he looks a little off. And it turns out the devil they, like, sided with, he's like, oh, I gave you a little demonic power, but they didn't realize what kind of devil I am. I'm a zombie devil, and me giving you your power made you into zombies, and you're all subservient to me. They didn't realize the price they'd have to pay. So that's the thing. They didn't do that willingly. That was just more so like, I don't know, maybe the devil convinced them of like, oh no, like, bring the guy to, I mean, for one, he hates devil hunters anyway, so it's kind of a win-win, because it's like, oh, I could have brought you into the fold, but no, like, you're a devil hunter, so I'm gonna kill you while I've got control of all these other people. And Denji tries to get away, but he, like, it's actually really horrific when he's screaming out in pain and just getting stabbed. It kind of, once again, kind of a spoiler. I won't talk about the specifics. I can't remember, it's episode 9 or 10. There's a character in Go-Go Loser Ranger that was in a similar situation. Not the exact, but it's like, you hear this character screaming out in pain, and I was like, it made me queasy. I was like, it just makes you like uncomfortable and just like makes you super sad. It's like super depressing. And it's like, yeah, he got killed and sliced and diced and thrown into a trash bin. And you're just like, fuck. But Pochi gets to taste, Pochita tastes some of his blood, and it's like, he remembers a conversation he had with Denji. Denji told him one day, like, because I'm hunting devils, at one point in time, one might end up killing me, but he's like, I want you to possess my body when that comes down, because that's what devils can do, so go and live that dream for the both of us, And Pochita does things a little differently. Instead of possessing his body to an extent, it's like, I'm going to give you my heart. We're gonna kind of become one. I think like Pochita technically doesn't exist anymore, because Pochita kind of became his new heart. So we're together in that way. But it's like, I want you to kind of live your dream. Go show me that dream you dreamed of. And it's interesting because I guess because they're melding together, because up until this time, Pochita's just been barking like a dog. But I think because they're melding us together, like, he can actually understand Pochita now. So I wonder, like I said, I'm curious to see if that's going to be the last we see of Pochita, or will like Pochita pop up in like his dreams and stuff like that. But yeah, like, he got so pissed at this zombie. And I love that conversation where he's like, why wasn't, like, did you want more? Like, you had more than enough. Like, why were you greedy and wanted more? But then he's also like, but what about me? I had Pochita. I was so caught up in wanting more that I couldn't be satisfied with just the happiness I had with Pochita, and that's where we are now. So he's like, I can't really get mad at you because I'm the same way. But he's like, what I can do is kill and get rid of anyone that gets in our way, and transforms and starts ripping through it. And like I said, it's just so beautifully animated, like the movement just slicing through all the zombies, making his way to the zombie guy. And he kind of panics when he gets hurt, and it's just like tossing bodies at Denji, and Denji just slicing and dicing through them. And it's just like, I love how that's just, like I said, just beautifully animated when he's just slicing through that one tendril and then just like slices them down the middle. But it's like, it's not typical rules of like, you kill the, because the zombies aren't a hive mind. They've been infected, but they're not a hive mind. So you kill the king, the rest are still alive. But he's like, oh, at this point, you're all full devils. But he's like, cool. So that means if I kill each and every one of you, no one will be left anyway for my debt. They're not sentient anyway, but it's also a little bit of a get back because this all happened because you decided to do what you did. Once again, everyone's after more and more. Like, no one's above wanting more. Like, there's never a ceiling that's just too much of like, oh, you have enough. It's like, you're always going to want bigger and better things. So Denji sliced through everything. And by the time, what were they called? Public safety. Show up, and they find the remnants of everything, and they also find Denji. But the girl like immediately recognizes, like, right, you don't smell like a devil, but you also don't smell like a human. But in that moment, she also recognizes like he is a human, but he's not possessed, because she's like, I can look at their face and tell. Because the last words Denji says is like, hug me, and she does. And, you know, she lays him down and is like, right, you have two choices after doing what you've done. You can either let me kill you like a devil, or I can treat you like a human. And it's like, you know, I can feed you and take it. And he's like, oh, what would we have? And she's like, well, it'd be bread, you know, for breakfast, it'd be like bread with butter and jam and this and that and coffee and, ooh, maybe some kind of dessert. And for obviously that, bringing it full circle with the whole, he wanted Pochita to have bread with jam, and it's like, that sounds awesome, you know, and kind of ending things there. So now we kind of see, like, because like I said, I didn't know what the premise of this was, but it seems like he works for an agency that, or some probably government agency, that public safety, that wipes out demons. So we saw some of our other protagonists in the opening. So she's one of them, but I guess she's like the love interest. I thought the girl with the horns was the love interest. The one in the intro with the horns. I thought she was the love interest, or at least the main love interest. I think the girl he meets right now, it's like, because she's the one he was like pining after in the opening. But it's like, which I don't know. Once again, I feel like I remember picking up stuff here and there, but like her and Denji's relationship is kind of fucked up, if I remember correctly. Once again, having not, like I said, it's just one of those things of like, you hear bits and pieces when you hear people talk about anime, and at the time when people were talking about Chainsaw Man, I feel like Denji and her's relationship, apparently there's some like fucked up shit. Apparently this series has like, is one of those manga that is kind of like, I mean, there's some like weird shit in it, you know, and from what I was reading, apparently the anime is very faithful in covering some of that wild shit that happens in the manga. So I'm excited to see where all this goes. To find out for myself what that relationship ends up being. I don't know if it's going to be like a thing of like, I mean, it seems like based on the opening, it does feel like maybe, I don't know if it's a mutual thing of like, she feels the exact same way, feels like she probably uses him and he kind of simps for her, which once again, it's like, this is his dream, like the girl he wants to like lay next to and stuff like that. So it feels befitting. You know, it's like, right, he ends up falling for the first girl that comes into his life. So, like I said, very great start. I'm excited to see where things kind of go from here for Denji and kind of expand upon the world of this that is Chainsaw Man. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.